Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are unpacking a genuinely fascinating source text that sits at this bizarre, yet incredibly thought-provoking intersection of ancient spirituality, modern technology, and deep personal growth. We're going to be looking at how one speaker bridges the gap between the raw forces of nature and the cutting-edge capabilities of artificial intelligence. And they do it all to answer a really fundamental question about why we experience hardship in our lives. If you love connecting the dots between seemingly unrelated concepts, you are absolutely in the right place today. So, what exactly connects ancient waterfalls, artificial intelligence, and our daily struggles? On the surface, I know, these three things seem completely unrelated. But the source material weaves them together into this highly structured worldview. It's like a giant puzzle. We're going to trace a journey that starts with natural energy phenomena up in the mountains, transitions into how humans historically express that energy through culture, takes a really sharp turn into how modern youth should be using AI right now, and finally culminates in a profound, incredibly raw personal realization about the true purpose of our daily struggles. So to grasp all of this, we really have to start at the source.
Section 1. The Hidden Energy of Waterfalls.
Okay, so the speaker fundamentally redefines what a waterfall actually is. According to the source, mountains carry specific electrical energies that travel down into the valleys, and water actually holds this energy. So a waterfall isn't just rushing water, right? It's a concentrated flow of energy. The physical traits of a waterfall, whether it's a massive, high-volume drop or just a small stream with a very tight, specific frequency, actually dictate its unique energy signature. It is literally like a human fingerprint. No two waterfalls are exactly alike, and they each create a completely different energetic environment.
Now, you might be wondering, how do we as humans interact with that energy? Well, the text introduces the concept of gojong. This is the rhythmic beating of traditional instruments, things like the jengu, kwangwari, and jing. The thing is, shamans and spiritual practitioners don't just play these instruments randomly. The speaker claims they use specific rhythmic beats at specific waterfalls to interact with unseen forces. So depending on the skill or the artistry of the practitioner, they use these sounds to either scatter or gather the unique frequencies of that specific waterfall. And this facilitates communication with the spiritual realm.
Here is where it gets really interesting. This energy is treated as a tangible, almost physical barrier. Traditional musicians actually practice hitting high notes while standing right under these waterfalls. And the goal isn't just vocal training in a really loud environment, they are quite literally attempting to use human sound to pierce or break the energy field generated by the waterfall. It's all about pulling out a sound that can transcend that natural frequency. And this attempt to use the human voice brings us perfectly to our next core concept.
Section 2. Chang and Message Delivery.
The discussion pivots here to Chang, which is traditional Korean singing, but the speaker insists that most people totally misunderstand its fundamental purpose. It's not just art, it's not just entertainment. The core philosophy here is that all culture exists to deliver a message. Whether it's traditional singing or unique regional dances, these cultural forms are actually profound delivery systems. The voice, that's just the vehicle. The real value is the message it carries to humanity. And the speaker notes that this traditional culture hasn't fully revealed its message to the world yet. So how do we deliver messages in the modern era?
Section 3. AI and New Cultural Creation.
Here is where the source text takes a really fascinating, highly practical turn. The speaker believes that modern creators actually no longer need to seek out traditional composers or lyricists. Instead, they give us a very specific four-step workflow using artificial intelligence. So, step 1 is to gather Jungbub, which essentially translates to truth, or fundamentally good words and philosophies. Step 2, you feed these texts into an AI, telling it exactly how long you want the piece to be, let's say 5 minutes. Step 3, you use the AI to generate the lyrics and the music. And step 4, boom, immediately upload it to YouTube. The speaker views AI as the ultimate tool to instantly transform complex philosophical text into digestible, modern cultural content.
To actually pull this off, the speaker offers some highly specific advice for today's youth. They suggest forming small, agile content teams, specifically exactly 3 people. Why 3? Well, as the speaker notes, if you put 10 people in a room, they're practically guaranteed to argue. A harmonious 3-person team is the sweet spot, and they should use AI not just as a basic tool, but almost as a creative mentor to explore ideas. By consistently generating and uploading this culturally meaningful content over a period of about 3 years, the speaker claims these young creators will build a massive library of work, ultimately becoming global cultural pioneers.
But why is the speaker so incredibly passionate about youth, struggle, and delivering these profound messages?
Section 4. Enlightenment at the Waterfall.
To really understand the speaker's message, we have to look at the extreme severity of their early life. According to the text, the speaker was orphaned and completely abandoned by society at just 4 years old. By age 6, they were a gum-selling boy, literally peddling newspapers and gum on the streets, actively avoiding the orphanage because they refused to eat the meals there. By 2nd grade, they had completely abandoned formal schooling. This timeline of intense, relentless hardship from a very young age sets the stage for a dramatic breaking point in their adulthood, which brings us full circle, right back to a waterfall.
The speaker recounts this deeply intense period where they went under a massive waterfall to essentially protest against the heavens. Feeling utterly abandoned by the world, they describe literally fighting with God. For a week, they fasted, taking absolutely no meat, not even a single drop of water, and just screamed at the sky, challenging God or Buddha to come down and strike them right then and there if they were real. The speaker describes being in a state of total, consuming rage against the world that had seemingly given them nothing but a life of suffering in the shadows.
But it was precisely at this point of maximum despair that a massive shift occurred. The speaker didn't die under the waterfall. Instead, they had a profound realization. They realized that their anger, their absolute certainty that they knew how the world should work and that they were right to blame it, was incredibly foolish. They realized that isolating themselves and wanting to die was just a sign of their own ignorance. The hardship wasn't a punishment at all. They recognized it was, in fact, a rigorous, highly personalized education about how the real, often harsh world actually functions. Which brings us to the unifying philosophy of this entire text.
Section 5. Hardship is spiritual training.
The speaker applies their own personal revelation directly to the youth of today, using the concept of hangik ingen. In this context, hangik ingen refers to individuals destined to live for the broad benefit of all humanity. The speaker firmly asserts that the youth of today, specifically the generation born in their country, are destined to be these exact hangik ingen leaders. Therefore, the struggles, the confusion, and the intense hardships young people face today, they aren't random accidents. They are highly customized, necessary training regimens meticulously designed by nature to prepare them for global leadership. So, this presents us with a pretty stark choice. When you complain and blame others for your difficulties, the speaker warns that you are essentially quitting your spiritual training, which, ironically, only makes your life harder. But a true practitioner studies the hardship. They observe their environment without complaint, treating every single obstacle as customized study material designed specifically for their personal growth. By doing this, they transform everyday challenges into the exact skills needed to become a future leader. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with a question to take with you. Whether you are out there using AI to build new cultural content, or you're just simply trying to navigate a really tough week, the speaker's philosophy challenges all of us to look at our roadblocks completely differently. If every hardship is actually a customized curriculum designed to make you a better leader for humanity, how might you reframe your own correct complaints today? Think about that as you look at the challenges standing in front of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this deep dive has given you a powerful new perspective to explore.